Canon's EOS 200D Mark II is Canon's smallest and lightest DSLR camera. It's really packed with some great features to help you get more out of your photography. And in this video, I'm going to take you through some of the more advanced features so you can get to know your new 200D Mark II a little bit better. If you haven't already seen it, please make sure you check out the first video in this series where I spoke through some of the more basic features of the camera. So let's get started. One of the things I love about the Canon EOS 200D Mark II is the guided display. The guided display simply talks through some of the effects that you might be trying to achieve in really simple terms. For example, on the back of the screen, as I'm here in P mode, you'll see we have an option on the left-hand side that says darker, on the right-hand side, brighter. What that means is as you adjust your exposure compensation to the left or the right, you're making the shot brighter or darker. So it really helps to guide you through photography. As we change our mode from P up to TV to adjust the shutter speed, you'll notice again with that guided display on the back of the camera, we can control that shutter speed quite easily if we want to freeze the action or whether we want to have more of a flowing movement and motion. If we move the camera up into AV mode, the guided display on the back of the camera will tell us whether we want to have a sharper background or a blurrier background. And then you can move the dial to the end of the guided display to suit the shot that you're trying to achieve. When we go into manual mode, again, the guided display quite simply shows you the three values there: shutter speed, aperture, and ISO, and quickly and easily allows you to adjust them simply by using the camera's built-in touchscreen, or we can use the dial at the top of the camera here. I'm just going to take a minute to talk you through the camera's mode dial. We have a few options on the top of this control wheel here, starting with automatic. In automatic, the camera is designed to do all of the hard work for you, so you can simply have the confidence leaving it in auto to point and shoot. But if you want to get more out of your camera, that's when we need to start using some of the other modes. For example, if we move the camera from auto down to SCN, that stands for scene, and you'll notice on the back of the camera now that you have access to a range of different scene modes. So if you're wanting to take a photo of a landscape, a portrait, a macro shot, maybe a group photo, by changing the scene mode in your camera, it's going to help you get the most out of your photos in the easiest way possible. If you want to get a little bit more creative with your photography, why not explore the creative filters menu on the camera? In this menu here, we can jump between HDR, black and white, even miniature effect. There's some really fun filters that you can apply to your photography by adjusting this menu to the side here. Okay, so let's talk about some of the semi-manual modes. We're going to start with P. Now, P stands for program, and it's a really quick and easy way for you to start your photography towards manual. P uses the camera's built-in light meter and will give the camera a reading for the ambient light. It then sets your shutter speed and aperture for you and simply allows you to control the brightness by moving that exposure compensation scale to the right or the left, so you can control the brightness. As we move that mode dial up to TV, TV stands for time value, and this is where we can adjust the shutter speed. We adjust the shutter speed by using this main dial on the top of the camera, or you can use the camera's built-in touchscreen. When you control the shutter speed, the camera is automatically selecting the best aperture to give you a balanced exposure. So you only need to adjust one thing in the camera. One of the things I love about the guided display, even when I'm shooting in a semi-manual mode, it's giving me helpful tips. For example, on the back of the camera now, it's telling me shooting at 1 second exposure is going to be overexposed. So I can simply make the adjustments with the control dial here to bring up a faster shutter speed so the photos won't be overexposed. With guided display, as I'm shooting in TV mode, it's giving me helpful tips as to what shutter speed I need to use for general photography and what shutter speed I might need to avoid camera shake. For example, if you have a look on the back of the screen here, you can see the dial is in black for general photography. And as soon as I move down to the gray area, which is below a 60th of a second, the camera suggests it's suitable for panning or similar shots and try to avoid camera shake. So that's really letting me know those slower shutter speeds are best suited for when we have a tripod or when we're looking to capture some really slow movement. As we go up into AV mode, this stands for aperture value, which controls our depth of field. Your depth of field is measured in f-stops. So if you notice the camera says f11 or f3.5, it's letting you know how much is going to be in focus. An easy rule of thumb to remember, the lower the number, the smaller the area of focus. The larger the number, the larger the area of focus. For example, if I'm wanting to shoot a portrait with a very shallow depth of field, so the background is nice and blurry, then I'm wanting to find the lowest possible f-stop that this lens will allow me to go to. In the camera now, it's f3.5. If I want to capture a beautiful landscape photo, then I would be looking at increasing that f-stop to a larger number. For example, f11 to f16 is a great mid-range aperture to give you depth of field from the foreground right through to the background. What I love about the guided display is the camera is giving me some really useful little tips as I'm changing the aperture. For example, f11, the camera is telling me keep the background in focus and avoids camera shake. As I go down to the smaller aperture numbers, for example, f4, the camera is letting me know this is great for blurring the background. If we go up into manual mode, this is where we have full access to control the shutter speed, the aperture, and the ISO. You can do this in two ways, either by using the dials on the camera or you can use the camera's built-in touchscreen. If I want to control the dials, to do that, the top dial here adjusts my shutter speed. To control the aperture, you need to hold down the AF button on the back of the camera and again, move the dial at the top. And to adjust the ISO, simply press the ISO button and again, that main dial, moving it left to right to control the ISO. You can also do that by activating the touchscreen and simply moving the dials with your finger here. Some of the other key features that you might like to adjust on your Canon EOS 200D Mark II might be the autofocusing system and the drive mode. So let me talk you through those now. The autofocus system, you'll have three options: one shot, AI focus, and AI servo. As we adjust through these, it's going to change the way that the camera and lens tracks your subject for focusing. If we look at the one shot, for example, this is perfect for focusing on a still subject, something that's not moving. If we jump over to AI servo, this mode is really helpful for tracking a moving subject. And in the middle, you have the AI focus. This is a hybrid mode that switches from one shot to servo, depending on how fast and when your subject is moving or when it's standing still. The other thing that you can change is the drive mode. So if I am trying to capture something fast moving, maybe a bird in flight or a sports mode, first thing I would do is set a faster shutter speed. The second thing is change that drive mode to high speed continuous. So to do that, on the back of the camera, I'm just selecting this mode here, and I'm going to select the continuous shooting mode, which means that as I hold my finger down on the shutter, the camera is going to take a burst of images. To help the camera continue to focus throughout that sequence, I'll also select the AI servo. So that's a really quick and easy way that you can set yourself up for success when taking photos of fast moving subjects. Having the ability to shoot 4K video mode is just fantastic in such a small little camera. In fact, I'm being filmed in 4K on the new Canon EOS 200D Mark II right now. In the red camera shooting mode, you'll notice a few of the options that are available to us are specifically for the movie mode. For example, the first option here just asks you what size you want the video to be. So we can choose from our high definition, full HD or 4K. Some of the other really great features that we have available to us in this mode here is time-lapse movie. By accessing the time-lapse movie mode, change it from disable. You can select different scene modes here. And then we can go down and really finesse how many shots we want to select, the intervals, and at the bottom of the camera, it'll show you what video length that's going to output your clip to be. For example, if we have 6-second intervals with, let's put in there 330 photos, that's going to output us a video of 13 seconds. We do have some more options there for the video time-lapse mode. For example, auto exposure. We can either have it fixed on the first frame or it can be adjusting each individual frame. The other option you have is to automatically turn the screen off, which I'll enable there for the time-lapse mode. So once you've made the selections that you want and you're happy to go, simply set your frame up and press the red button to record. Another great feature within video mode on this camera here is video snapshot. If we enable the video snapshot mode, this is going to help the camera to just keep those clips set to a particular time limit. For example, I have set this one here to 4 seconds. So as I go to press record on the back of my camera, you'll notice this blue line counting down the 4 seconds, and then it will automatically stop recording. If you're out taking a sequence of these photos, putting the video together in post-production makes it really quick and easy with these pre-clipped video snapshots. So that mode there is available to you simply by pressing the menu and going into video snapshot. What's the difference between JPEG and RAW? If you're planning on processing your photos, so you might want to take them into another software, adjust the highlights, the shadows, the sharpness, then you are best to be shooting in RAW. RAW is an uncompressed file, significantly larger than a JPEG, which means it will take up more room on your memory card and more room on your computer, but as a result, it contains a lot more information for you to manipulate in post-production. If you're wanting to just take the photo straight out of the camera, maybe print it or send it to a friend, save it straight from the camera to the computer, then a JPEG is the easiest way to do that. It doesn't require any processing, it's all done in camera. So guys, hopefully this video has helped you understand some of the key features and benefits of your new Canon EOS 200D Mark II. With all the features that are packed into this small little camera, I hope you enjoy getting out there and unleashing your creative potential.